What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more George Michael, and we're back to finish his 1996 album, Older. Thank you again to Michaela for this CD. And once we do that, we're going to go on to Songs from the Last Century, which Michaela also sent. Now, the cover's already up on my music wall, not in frame here, but over there. So once again, big thank you to Michaela and to all those who've been following along. Now, if you're wondering what happened to You Have Been Loved, well, if you didn't know, that reaction got blocked here on YouTube, so it's now up publicly on my Patreon. You can go check that out. Just, keyword search for George Michael, and you will find it. But yes, that's why, if you weren't aware, it seems like we've jumped over a tune. In any case, the last track is Free, which of course makes me think of Freedom, and what was it, Freedom 90? So I don't know if there's any connection, but if there is, perhaps it's an update. It's something that speaks to maybe the progress that had been made between the writing of Freedom and the writing of Free in the mid-90s. So I suppose that's as good a guess as any. It is a single word title. Those are tough to get a read on. Free is the state of being an agent, able to make decisions upon your own volition and will, not something where you are impeded or constricted or pushed into conformity by external factors or other expectations and mores. So yeah, it feels like a title that, as opaque as it may be, because it's a single word title, is especially well suited to George, and maybe again that's partially because I'm aware of his song Freedom. In any case, let's hear it. It's the last track on George Michael's album Older, 1996, and it's Free. Oh. Ambient jazz meets trip hop. Meets reggae rhythm, meets like Eastern melody. Is that it? Wow, that is really short. I'm surprised by that. I felt like we were probably just about to dip into a lyrical exploration. But okay, so a tune which is, I guess, not technically instrumental. We do have his vocals right at the very end, but a tune which is expressing a feeling that it feels good to be free with smooth, comfortable, and atmospheric sonics. Now, again, there's some different flavors there. Like, first of all, there's almost like a record, not scratching, because it's not like crab scratching, but like a turntablist type of sound. So that gives it, again, a bit of a trip hop flavor, as does the percussive rhythm of the tune. But there's also this mellow, ambient jazz or progressive jazz type feeling, and then it gets into a bit of a like reggae keys rhythm in the latter stages or the second half, along with that melody, which I don't know what instrument was making that melody, but had a bit of a like Near Eastern flavor to it. So a really interesting tune in terms of the composition, but it all meshed quite well, and I was feeling the sonic rhythm of it. And then, as I said, right when I felt like it's like, okay, here comes the proper part of the song, that was the end. So yeah, sort of an atmospheric capstone on the album, and definitely one that I find tasty, even if it's left up to the listener how to take the sonics in relation to the sentiment expressed right at the very end vocally. But again, a masterful album, and I already had a sense before we got to this album that George's songwriting gets very deep, whether it's autobiographical and or speaking to socio-cultural attitudes and realities more broadly. But I think this album definitely took it to another level, so I'm very impressed by that. And I've mentioned this a couple times, like George Michael, it's a name I knew going way back, and I was aware even as a kid that, like, oh, it's the guy from Wham, right? But I get it, like, having now gone through his music more properly, heard his vocals more properly, gotten a sense of his songwriting more properly, I totally get why he was an icon and why he has the fan base, even now, many years after his death, that he does. Because, yes, he was a significant artist, even more than I knew. And again, it's a testament to his reach and impact that, as someone who was a single digit kid in the 80s, and, even by the time of this album, I would have been 15, unless it came out at the very end of 96, where I would have been 16. But, like, I was aware of who he was and that he was a significant artist, even though I wasn't, like, following him directly. So, yeah, definitely a testament to his impact and the quality of this album. And I'm looking forward to Songs from a New Century. Once again, thank you to Michaela. Do let me know what you think, and Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.